Okay, good morning class. Good morning SMP 1C. So today we'll be having a quick review on the different topics that we had for the past weeks. Now these topics are also part of your midterms exam next week. So this is my way of preparing you and reminding you of the topics that we had. So let's begin with one of the first topics that we had for this semester or term rather. Let's begin with scheming and scanning. So for scheming and scanning, the concept of these two is very easy as long as you remember the keywords that I'm going to tell you. Okay, let's begin with skimming first. So when we're talking about skimming, again, you just have to remember we refer to reading a text quickly to find out general idea, general theme, general topic. Okay, so you don't have to give that much importance to keywords because you're only looking for the general idea of the text. There is no need to read every word. Usually, you would find the main idea of a text on the first few parts and the last few parts. Probably first two sentences and last two sentences would do. And the focus is on improving the speed of reading. Because since you're just looking for the general idea, there's no need to devote so much time in reading the text. Okay, so that is skimming. Now let's move with scanning. So then again, scanning is also reading a text quickly, but when we say scanning, you already have something specific in mind, okay? You know exactly what you are looking for in the text. May it be in the dictionary, may it be in a specific website, you already have an idea, okay? And the goal is to search for relevant words or important details. And you focus more on keywords rather than the general meaning, because then again, you're looking for something specific. So that is what we mean when we say scanning. I have here some examples of skimming and scanning that I wanted you to identify. Let's start with the first one. Browse through a book to see if you want to read it. Let's have Ruella. Ruella, could you please identify if this is skimming or scanning?
Scanning.
Scanning? You sure? Browse through a book?
Sorry, skimming.
Yeah, there you go. So the first example is an example of skimming. Okay, let's have number two. Checking on a bus or airplane schedule. I'd like to specify this one more. You're looking for your bus or airplane schedule. What do you think it is? Is it skimming or scanning? Let's have Sharon. Sharon, what do you think it is?
Scanning.
Okay, this one scanning. Very good. Let's have the third one. Looking up a word in the dictionary. Let's have Kendrew. Kendrew, what do you think is the answer? Looking up a word in the dictionary. Is this scheming or scanning? Okay, I think Kendrew's having problems with internet. Let's have Felicia instead. Felicia, is this scheming or scanning?
Scanning.
Okay, this one's scanning because you're looking up a word in the dictionary, meaning you already have a word in mind. And the last one, reading the opening and closing sentences of a paragraph. Let us have Franz Colin. Franz Colin, what do you think is the answer for the last example? Is this scheming or scanning? Franz Colin? Okay, let's have Irvando instead. Irvando, is this scheming or scanning? Irvando?
Skimming.
Okay, very good. So the last sentence or example rather is an example of skimming. Okay, now let's move to countable and uncountable nouns. Okay, so you already know how to identify which is countable and which is uncountable because we've had several practices already for this. Now what I want you to remember are the determiners. Okay, the determiners that you have to use for countable and uncountable nouns. Now let's go through each one by one. So again, countable nouns are anything that can be counted. They have a singular and plural form. The singular form can use the determiners a or an. And if you want to ask about the quantity of a countable noun, you ask how many. Okay, so those are the basic determiners that you have to remember. A and an. or what we also call indefinite articles rather. Okay, I have here an example for positive sentences or what we call affirmative sentences. We can use a or an for singular nouns and some for plurals. Now let's have number one. What do you think is the answer for this? Could you please try Angeline? Angeline Veronica? What is the answer for number one? Is it a, an, or some? Angeline? Okay, let us have Philbert instead. Philbert, what should we use with number one? Okay, the answer is okay, there's a man at the door. How about number two? I have blank friends in New York. Let's have Sharon again. Sharon? Friends is plural, so what should we use? Okay, the answer is some. I have some friends. Now let's go to negative sentences. We can use a or an for singular nouns, the same thing, but for plurals, we use any. Let's have number one. I don't have a blank dog. Mac Arthurson, could you please answer number one? Is it a, an, or any?
I don't have a dog.
Okay, very good, Mac. I don't have a dog because dog is a singular countable noun. Let's have number two. There aren't blank seats. Could you please answer this one, Angeline Natasha?
There aren't any seats.
Okay, there aren't any seats. Okay, let's go with questions. In questions, we use a, an, or any, or how many with countable nouns. Now we have here three examples. Could you please answer number one, Stanley? Stanley, is there a blank email address to write to? What should we use?
An.
Okay, very good. Is there an email address? Because email starts with E, which is a vowel sound. Okay, let's have number two. Are there blank chairs? Could you please answer this one, Welson? Let's have Welson.
Any.
Okay, the answer is any. And the last one, let's have Jason. Jason, blank chairs are there. What should we use? A, an, any, or how many? Jason? Okay, let's have Delbert instead. Delbert?
How many chairs are there?
Okay, very good. How many chairs are there? Now let's move with uncountable nouns. Again, uncountable nouns, anything that cannot be counted. Why can't we count uncountable nouns? Because they may be names for abstract ideas or qualities or for physical objects that are too small to be counted. Example like ash, sand, liquids, powders, gases, etc. So these things are considered uncountable. Uncountable nouns are also used with a singular verb. They usually do not have a plural form. And we cannot use a or an with these nouns because they are uncountable. To express the quantity of an uncountable noun, what we have to do is use a word or expression like some, a lot of, much, a bit of, a great deal of, etc. Many more. Let's try. So in questions, we use any or how much with uncountable nouns. You see the difference? When we are referring to countable nouns, we use how many because we know how many it is. But here in uncountable nouns, we use much instead or how much. Okay, let's have number one. Mac, could you please try number one again? Is there blank sugar? What's the answer? Is this any or how much?
Is there any sugar?
Okay, very good. Is there any sugar? Let's have number two. Let's have Philbert. Philbert, blank orange juice is there. What should we use?
How many orange juice is there?
Okay, how many? You sure? We only have any or how much? How much? Okay. We use how much instead because orange juice is uncountable. Okay, now we move with definite and indefinite articles. So this one also was our previous lesson. Again, indefinite articles, there are only two. We have a and an. Meanwhile, for definite articles, we have only one, and that is the or the, depending on the sound that follows it. So we use indefinite articles with singular countable nouns only. Okay? We use definite article with all nouns, may it be countable, uncountable, singular, or plural. And then we use indefinite articles again to refer to something that is not specific. And in opposite, definite articles are used with something that is specific. Okay, so here are some of the examples. I was born in a town. A town is a countable singular noun. Okay, why did we use an indefinite article? Because the town was not specified. Meanwhile, in the first example on the right side, under definite article the capital of France is Paris. And this one is something specific. But most of the time, we don't usually see proper nouns being used with the definite article. So it's not always like that. That when you find a name, a specific name, it's already under definite article. Sometimes it's indirect. Please take a look at the last example under the. Please switch off the TV when you finish. There was no specific name mentioned, but how do we identify that this one is definite or specific? Because of the phrase, when you finish, meaning it's something personal. It's something that a person is currently using. That is why it is specific. All right? And we also have what we call zero articles. Okay? So again, for zero articles, you just have to remember, you don't need to use any article if you are referring to the general meaning of things, abstract nouns, or names of people, places, streets, languages, academic subjects, days, and months. But when I say I took the English subject yesterday, why did I use an article? Why did I use the definite article the? When it says here, languages, there's no need for article like English. Because, listen to the sentence, I took the English subject yesterday. I am referring to English as a subject. Okay? English subject, the English subject, that's together. So that's why I used a definite article. But if you are only referring to English with its general meaning, nothing specific, then there's no need to use an article. Okay, I hope you got that one. This one is this is just a summary of our discussion with definite and indefinite articles. Okay, so again, it's the same thing. We use a when the noun next to it starts with a consonant sound and with a vowel sound, and then the is for something specific or unique. Please take a look at the examples under the. It says here the earth, the world, the moon. These are not proper nouns or specific names of things, but we are referring to it as something specific because we only have one earth. There's only one world and there's only one moon existing. Okay? So basically, we're only referring to a certain thing and it's only one, a single thing. So it's specific. Okay? Now let's go to one of our most recent topics, which is present continuous. Okay, now let's go with present continuous. I believe that you've already copied the lectures for all the topics that we previously discussed. So let's go through present continuous really quick. So again, when we are referring to present continuous, we are referring to actions which are happening at the present moment. Okay, but we'll soon finish. What do we mean when we say but we'll soon finish? We are referring to things that are temporary situations that are happening now. Don't confuse this with present simple because when we use present simple, we are referring to things that are habits, routines, or permanent situations. Present continuous, temporary situations, and things that are happening now at this moment at the present time. Okay? Now, how do we use it again? First, let's go with the different be verbs. So, am always goes with I, is with he, she, or it, or singular forms of nouns, and are with you, we, and they, or plural form of nouns. So, I know this one's very basic, you already know this. So, let's go to the different functions of present continuous. The first function that I gave you, again, is now. Use the present continuous with normal verbs to express the idea that something is happening now or something that is not happening now at this very moment. Okay? The next one, longer actions in progress now. So we are in the process of doing a longer action which is in progress, but we might not be doing it at this exact second. Just like the example that I gave you last time, I am studying to become a doctor. Becoming a doctor will take so many years. So basically, it's a long process that is in progress already. But you may not be doing it at that exact second when you said the sentence. So it doesn't really matter. What matters it is a long action in progress. Okay, I am studying to become a doctor. Then the next one, we have near future. So when we say near future, if you look at the illustration below, there is only little gap between present and future. And it's still more in the present if you look at the X mark. So when we say future, it doesn't necessarily mean that we have to use the future tense. Sometimes present continuous is applicable as well. Okay? Speakers use the present continuous to indicate that something will or will not happen in the near future. Okay, so that's how we use it. Okay, next one. Now, this was the last topic that we had, facts and opinions. So again, I'd like to reiterate with you. Facts, again, tell us what happened and can be proven true or false. Again, why? Because we can prove it to be true because we have evidence. By the way, you don't say evidences, okay? Because evidence is already the singular or plural form of that word, okay? You may use pieces of evidence or evidence only. Okay, a fact generally refers to something that is true and can be verified as such. Okay, so how do you prove a fact again? You can use research supporting it. You can also use photos, videos, and discoveries. Okay, so that's how you identify a fact. Meanwhile, an opinion, we are referring to an opinion as an attitude or judgment towards a certain thing. And you can prove it right or wrong. Why can't we prove an opinion right or wrong? Because what may be right for me may be wrong for you. What may be right for you may be wrong for me. Why? Because people have different opinions towards certain things and issues, right? Because it's a personal belief. It's something that varies per person. Is it debatable? Yes, it's subject to arguments. You can argue over an opinion because not everyone will agree to an individual's opinion. Okay, they might have their own opinions as well. But facts are not meant for arguments. It's not debatable. Why? Because it's universal. It can be applied for all people, no matter what age, no matter what personality that person has, no matter what opinion that person has. A fact applies to everyone. It's universal. But an opinion, it varies per person. Okay, and you cannot prove it right or wrong. All right, so that is for our review for today. On Monday, are we gonna meet on Monday? Are we gonna meet on Monday? Let me think about it. Our meeting is only Thursday and Friday, right? So basically, we won't meet on Monday, but please expect probably one review activity that I'm gonna give on Monday or Tuesday, so that you'll have an experience or you'll have like a simulation about the midterms exam. So I'll be putting items that are almost similar with the midterms items so that you'll have an idea how it will go. Okay? So are there any questions? Questions? Clarifications and such? There is none. I suppose there is none because no one's answering. So let me just double check the attendance again. Secretary, please take note. Celestine, Fernandius are not in the call right now. Okay. Again, Celestine and Fernandius. Okay, but the rest are present today. All right. That would be all for today. Thank you so much for attending and participating in our class. Goodbye and good morning, everyone.
Bye, teacher.
Bye. Good morning.